Made in Heaven from Bebop Deluxe. Bill Nelson's with us now, actually. It must seem like a very long time ago.
It does, actually. Although there's still little bits I remember about when we recorded it, you know, sort of things that flash back, but it is a long time ago.
A previous lifetime.
Yes, another incarnation.
Well, you're here actually to talk about a new boxed set of 4 albums. I mean, all new stuff. Trial by Intimacy, The Book of Splendor. And you describe it really as a musical sketchbook, don't you? I mean, perhaps you better explain what it is, really.
I think it's probably the best description for it in that everything was put down very, very quickly and done at home as well with minimal equipment over a period of years. So there really wasn't any great reason to sort of polish it up and make it glossy and poppy or anything. It was just very basic ideas put down as quickly as possible. And hopefully, you know, I mean, at the time when I did them, I really didn't think about putting them on a record at all, but they've since proved to be worthwhile listening to in their own way.
I suppose people will think, you know, because they're unfinished, you didn't like them, or you didn't want to do anything with them at all.
No, it's not exactly that. I mean, they weren't intended as songs or anything. Anyway, they were really a bit of a release for me from having to worry about songs. You know, having to worry about choruses and hooks and whether it's the right thing for radio or whatever. All those kind of preoccupations that seem to be, you know, 90% of making music these days. So it was just a nice release to be able to get into something that didn't really concern those areas. You know.
Without further ado, then, we'll give people some idea of what we're actually talking about. This is from the 4th record of the 4, a catalogue of obsessions. This track, The Boy Pilot of Bangkok. The Boy Pilot of Bangkok from a catalogue of obsessions, and Bill Nelson, who's with us now. Well, that's one of 83 tracks.
That's right.
On this box. It's a bit daunting, isn't it?
It is actually, but I mean there are several years' work there, but again, none of it, as I say, has been really sort of intended originally for, you know, records or anything. It was just done for fun, but then sort of found its own identity afterwards and seemed to insist that it got put on plastic.
But this is obviously the way you work, is it? The way you try out new ideas?
Yeah, I mean, since I've had a studio at home, I mean, some of this stuff is recorded on 4 tracks, some on 8 track, and it's very primitively put together, but it is a way of testing. I mean, if something developed from one of these that could be a song, then obviously I'd take it a little bit further.
But they're more than just demos, really, aren't they? Of songs
yeah,
that come later on.
They're very much moods that I felt in at the time and tried to encapsulate. I mean, that particular track is perhaps one of the lighter-hearted things. It's more drum machines. Some of them are very, very, so they don't have drums at all, and they're quite ambient sounding, or whatever you want to call it, you know.
It must have been strange for you actually to look back on these, years' work, as you say, and felt the different periods you were going through at the time. Was it funny for you?
It is a diary. I mean, it is really like looking back through, events that happened, because each piece of music that I've ever done really has related to a specific, either an event in my life that's become the reason for writing the song in the first place, or have related to sort of just interest that I've had generally around. So it's quite disconcerting sometimes looking back on it all.
I wonder though, actually, how many have you had to leave out? Because presumably there must be more of these around as well.
Well, at the moment I've got enough for another couple of albums sat there, and actually some stuff which I've done since this lot, which is I think is better. So I run into trouble because I'm technically recording for CBS, you see, at the moment, doing a vocal album, which I've been working on for a while. So I really should sort of put my gear in their direction a little bit for sort of indulging myself so much.
It's called, I suppose, I don't know if we call that, the proper album, do we? The next
Bill
Nelson
the
album.
main, it's the thing that hopefully might earn me enough bread and butter to pay the electricity bill for recording this lot,
It's funny, though, because this is such a different approach, though, to putting out an album, really, isn't it? I mean, a very different approach to, the next standard release.
Yeah, well, I've got a bit of a hobby horse. I always have had about the business side of things, that you have to conform to certain rules and regulations within the pop business, And I suppose getting older doesn't help either. Not that I'm getting any sort of more bitter about the thing, it's just that I really feel that it's very restricting, and as you grow as a person, you need much more room to express that musically, and I think just sticking to writing pop singles would be a little bit narrow for me at this time.
Well, let's hear how you expressed yourself, I suppose, a couple of years ago again. This is from the third record, Pavilions of the Heart and Soul. 2 tracks together, actually, Herself with Her Shadow and The Exquisite Corpse. Two tracks together, Herself and Her Shadow and The Exquisite Corpse, if I can get it right, actually, from Pavilions of the Heart and Soul, which is also from a box set called Trial by Intimacy, and the book
Very
is
wordy,
they're beginning to mount up these titles, Bill. I mean, I'm not taking the rise, but
frustrated novelist, really. I think.
You obviously enjoy the title side of it, though.
They're very important to me in that they often, encapsulate the idea or the mood behind the piece anyway. And I store titles away at a rate of knots, and then look at them 6 months later, and the mood comes back immediately. It's a trigger, See the title, and immediately I feel the way I felt back then, and so I can then construct a piece to try and put that across.
Do you store titles separately from the bits of music as well, though?
Yes,
and you think that's a great title, I'll use that one day.
Yeah, definitely.
So the feeling there obviously was quite different to the other piece of music we heard before.
Yeah, that's from a set of 4 which are meant to be listened to as a kind of a unit. They're called 4 Pieces for Imaginary Strings, and they're like little string quartet pieces, really. It's quite nice. I'm quite pleased that you've been brave enough to put those on this afternoon at this time.
I think people are used to actually having a bit of a surprise.